They say you will never forget your first, and that was definitely the case for me. Hey you guys, I'm so excited. Today I'm going to review for you the longer Nano Pro 12 watts laser engraver. As you can see, this thing is tiny, it's lightweight, and it's super useful, very powerful. And without any further ado, let's get right into it and talk about this laser. Here's a quick fact for you. I started this YouTube channel in June 2023. In July 2023, so just about a month after I started this YouTube channel, Longer reached out to me and they asked me if they could please send me their Longer Ray 5 10 watts laser for review. They were my first company to reach out to me for a collaboration on this channel, and Longer was my first ever laser engraver. Now, having a laser engraver has completely changed the way I work. I think it opened the door to so many possibilities, and truly it made me a better woodworker. Since then, since July 2023, I've reviewed many lasers from all kinds of companies. I think I reviewed about 17 lasers altogether. As you can see, the Longer laser, it is a very small and lightweight, very portable. They sent me their Supreme package, deluxe package, I don't even know what it's called. I mean, they sent me the laser. They also sent me their extension base, so you can make bigger engravings. We'll get to that in a second. They sent me their rotary tool, so you can engrave on cylindrical objects. They also sent me an enclosure for the laser. So this is the enclosure. If you are interested in an enclosure for your laser, well, just know they have one. It has windows everywhere, so you can see your work in there. It has a light strip in the inside, so you can see what's going on. So there's the enclosure. I'm not going to talk any more about that. We'll just talk about the laser parts. Now, everything comes packaged really well in this box over here. And one thing that I should mention is everything is labeled so nicely. Every single box has a label with what is inside. Makes it really easy when you are trying to put it together. So I really appreciate that from Longer. The instructions are also very clear, very nice instructions with pictures, and you know, it was really easy to follow along and put together all this stuff. It doesn't take long to put it together, just a few minutes. Even the screws, you guys, the tool case has engraved in it what every screw is and so on, so there is no confusion. Now, before I show you around the laser and the accessories, I want to show you some testing that I did with this laser, some little projects. And I will start with this, and then we'll look at the machine and the extension table and the rotary tool. So my first project I have done with this laser is just a little wooden coaster, and I put my logo on it. I didn't even know what settings I should use. It's been a long time since I used the 12 watt laser. So I just kind of guesstimated and it worked out. The engraving, it's nice and clear. I did got a little bit of charring in there. You can just lightly sand it or even wipe it with isopropyl alcohol, and that will take care of that. But other than that, the engraving is really nice, even though this kind of wood usually does not engrave so nicely. Using the laser, it is super straightforward, really easy, and I want to get your attention when I engrave this coaster. Look at the little blue dot going around the coaster. That is my framing. You can have the laser set up so it shows you exactly where it will engrave, so it makes framing super easy and accurate. So that was engraving on wood. My next project was engraving some leather coasters, and I used the same, my logo design, and it engraved super nicely on these coasters. That is one design I did. Then I also did this one and one more over here with my website. So as you can see, really nice, clean engraving on leather. The same thing, you can see the blue dot going around for framing. It works really well. That was my leather coasters. The next project I did is engraving on some slate coasters. And for some reason, I forgot to push the record button when I did the engraving. But here is my slate coaster. That is my logo, and here is a picture of my kids I engraved on one of the coasters. So really nice engravings, as expected. Longer lasers are usually really good for engraving, so really pleased with the result. Next project, the wooden keychain. I have these wooden keychains I bought on Amazon. Maybe if I find them, I'll put a link in the description below. But as you can see, very nice, crisp engraving. It's looking really, really nice. Now here I have a round wooden coaster, not coaster. Now here I have a round keychain that I bought on Amazon, and here by mistake when I put in the speed and power, I've used, by the way, I used power 100 at most of these projects, so the only thing I change is the speed. And for the wooden keychains I meant to put in 6000 speed, and for this one I mistyped and I put in 600. So as you see, as I started the engraving, it really burned through, and I saw that and I stopped it, and then I adjusted the speed to 6000, and then we got a really nice engraving with 6000 speed. Then I decided to put my brand on some aluminum cards. This is aluminum coated cards. These are very, very popular with lasers. They engrave really, really nicely and fast. They come in all the colors you could imagine. I just use a black one for this one. And when I engraved this, I realized that accidentally I pulled a stack of cards instead of just one. So just because I had all these other cards with me there, I also engraved this picture of a black lab. I had this image on my computer from a customer that actually asked me to engrave this in the back of a cutting board. So my image was still there, so I used it. And then I also engraved this temple. This is a photograph I took back when I lived near Chicago in Illinois. And I lived about 5 minutes away from this temple. And I took many, many pictures of it. And I engraved it on this card. Very, very nice engraving. My next project was engraving on a maker's coin. These are called maker's coin. They are made from stainless steel. This particular one, it's 19 millimeter. And what you do, you engrave your logo on it. Here is, I hope I can, it's so reflective, it's hard to show. Let's see if I can show you. Very nice engraving on stainless steel. And what you do, you use a Forstner bit and make a hole that is 19 millimeter because that's how big this coin is. And then you CA glue or you use 5-minute epoxy and you put it into your project. And this is another way to mark your work. Now, because the engraving went so well into the stainless steel, I decided to take this necklace. This is a stainless steel necklace and engraved on it. And on this one, actually engraved with the same settings, but it's so much darker. Look at that. Am I keeping it upside down? Let's see. So very, very nice engraving. Now this laser, it's not supposed to engrave on curved objects as let's say the X-tool laser would do, but I decided to try it anyway. So I have these bamboo pens and I decided to engrave on it and see how it works. And I think it worked out really, really well. My power maybe was a little bit too much. It kind of got it too dark. But it was able to engrave on this round pen with absolutely zero trouble. The next engraving I did was on this scratch paper. This is that scratch paper you buy at the dollar store or wherever for little kids to scratch on it and write and make designs. I engraved this reindeer on it. And as you can see, I forgot to invert the image. When you engrave on black, you want to invert it so then your design shows white. But I forgot to do that. Still a really good quality engraving, lots of detail, very happy with it. Now this laser, it's mainly designed for engraving. It's not really a laser that you would use much for cutting. and we'll get more into that later. But I did wanted to see if it can cut wood, and it can, absolutely. I used this 3mm plywood, and it took a few tests. The first time I tried to cut these star designs, it cut but not all the way through. And then you will see me adjust the settings and cut it again. And the next time it cut almost all the way through, there were just a little bit of fibers left. And then the third time we were able to cleanly cut our designs. So it does cut, but it will not cut through very thick material, through very dense material. But for 1/8 inch material, it cuts with no problem once you figure out the settings. I could have just done a test grid and see what settings I need for cutting, but I found it just easier to just try it, and third time was the lucky one. Now, before I show you the testing that I did with the rotary tool and with the slider extension, let's go take a look around the laser. So the laser has this base plate. This is the cover protective. It has 4 magnets, and that's how it gets attached over here. Oops, sorry. This is your lens. And this is a galvo style laser. That means you do not have a laser that moves around on a gantry. It's using mirrors to bounce the laser around and focus it and engraves what it needs to engrave. So that's what makes this kind of lasers super, super fast. This is a wicked fast laser. So this is the cover. The cover does have a vent with a cable. The cables are color coded, so it makes it really, really easy. So you know exactly where you need to plug them in. You can see the dots. We have green, blue, yellow, and red. So the green one is for the cover. The blue one connects the laser to the stand. The yellow one you would use for the extension table and for the rotary tool. And then the red one is to connect it to your computer. So really, really clear instructions. My favorite part about this laser is the removable plate on the bottom. As you can see, this one comes out. And this makes it super, super useful for the kind of work I use it for. Let me just put this cover on. And that is engraving on my wooden products, like cheese boards, cutting boards, boxes, whatever I make. I like that removable plate because that means I don't have to keep focusing the machine over and over for every project. It doesn't matter of the thickness of my machine. I can just set the focus right here, like right now would be on the bench. So once I set the focus there, then I can take my cutting board. In this case, let's say I would want to engrave. I'll just put the machine right on top of it where I want to engrave and engrave it. And I know my focus is perfect right over there. It does not matter how thick my cutting board is. When I want to switch, let's say I want to engrave on something a lot taller. Like I have this tissue cover box here. Let's say I would want to engrave something right on the top. I do not want to do that, but if I wanted to, I can just pick up the laser, lay it on top of my tissue box, and now I am focused perfectly in there. And that makes it really, really easy and fast because I don't have to keep refocusing. Also, because of this style of laser, it can focus a lot deeper down or higher. I don't even know how to explain it. Let me give you an example. A few months ago, I sold one of my flower boxes. I'll put a picture on the screen so you know what I'm talking about. And the client wanted me to engrave his daughter's name inside the box. Now, this box was already made, so it's not like I could engrave it and then put it together. And because I had one of these galvo style lasers, I was able to focus, put the box under the laser, focus inside the box and engrave it, something that I would have not been able to do with just traditional diode laser machine. So super handy that you can remove this. This is some pins that will help you position the material in the same place over and over when you do repetitive jobs. Now your laser does have a cap to protect it. When it comes with the cap on. Do not forget to take it off. I did forget to take mine off and I burned a little mark in there in the middle. So you have a nice handle, so you can pick it up and put it wherever you need. And then on the back here, you can see there's 2 arrows, and this is how you focus your machine. When you turn it on and you connect it to your computer, you will see you will have 2 dots projected on the plate. There are 2 small red dots, and you want to push those buttons up or down until your 2 dots overlap, becoming 1 dot. That means your machine is perfectly focused when those 2 dots are overlapped. If you are using your cover, then the distance between the laser and the base of your cover, it's exactly the perfect distance that it needs to be focused. So if you take your laser and move it down where the cover touches your material, then you know you are perfectly focused. So you don't have to look at the dots. The machine also comes with this ruler, which it's exactly the distance you need for focusing. So let's say you do not want to use the cover and you do not want to use the dots. Well, then you can take the ruler and put it from the laser to your material and move the machine up and down until that distance. It's exactly the length of this ruler, and then your machine, it's focused properly. So you do get the cover. And then this is an accessory. It's a riser that you need to use when you will be using the rotary tool and the extension table. I should also mention Longer takes their safety very seriously. This laser, it is equipped with 2 very, very important safety. One is if the laser is on and it's engraving and you accidentally bump it, the movement of it will automatically stop the laser, so you don't have lasers bouncing all over your shop. Also, if the laser detects a fire, it will stop the machine as well. However, you should never, ever, ever leave your laser unattended. They are dangerous. It could start a fire, even though it's only 6 watts or 12 watts. You should never, ever leave it unattended. Also, you should be wearing your goggles. Your laser will come with goggles, and you need to wear this to protect your eyeballs. Now, when it comes to the rotary tool, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I had a few companies send me their rotary tool. I had it from Creality. I also have it from X-Tool, and those guys are still in the box. I've never, ever tried it. I don't know why I was intimidated by the rotary tool. Also, I do not have a laser engraving business, so I don't do that much engraving, but I decided, you know what, I will try the longer rotary tool, and I did. Putting it together was really, really easy. The rotary tool looks something like this, and this is where your truck is. This is where you attach your whatever you want to engrave. The instructions and the manual are very, very clear and makes it very, very easy, even though you've never used one like me. So I decided to try it, even though I've never ever used one. I'm not even sure if I used the proper prongs to hold my material. I didn't really have anything to engrave that was round. I don't have any kind of water bottles that are metal or anything like that. So, but I'm a woodworker, so I found a walnut dowel. This is a 1-inch dowel, and I was able to engrave on this dowel, and you can see the engraving is fantastic. It did a really a good job, and it was truly really easy. You just plug in the rotary tool, and then you have to go into the device setting, and there is instructions. The manual will tell you. You have to change the height, I believe it was, to 420 millimeter or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but it is in the manual. Once you do that, you plug in the diameter of your whatever you're doing, a glass, a bottle, a wooden dowel, and then you have in your design. You can frame it and you engrave it, and it just works. So super easy to use. I don't know why I was so intimidated to use one before. I'm glad I did. It is really easy to use. I think anyone can figure it out. Now, when it comes to the extension table, what this is, it's basically a table that moves on this slider, and this will increase the engraving size of your laser. This laser does not have a really big engraving size. Basically, this is the size you can do, which is about 4 by 4 inches. But with the extension, this is 100 millimeter by 100 millimeter if you do your work in millimeters. And then with extension, it still stays the width of 100 millimeter, but the length goes to 300 millimeter. So it gets around 12 inches by 4 inches. So that's how much you can engrave with the sliding extension table. The sliding extension table, the same thing, very clear into the manual on how to use it, and it worked really, really well. I engraved on a popsicle stick, and there's the engraving. Again, I think I probably used a little bit too much power, but there it is. And it worked from the first try. I've never used an extension table before, so that was also a first for me. Now, why do you need a laser? Well, as a woodworker, I think having a laser and putting your mark on the things you are making, it is super important for building a brand. Here is an example of a cheese slicer, and as you can see, I put my brand on the back. And that is because people might buy something like this. Let's say you come to a craft show and you purchase one of these cheese slicers or a box or whatever I might sell, and then you go home, you are hosting a party, your friends come over, they see the cheese slicer and they say, oh wow, I really like that, where did you buy it? And your answer would be, if I didn't put my mark in there, it would be like, I don't know, a lady was selling it on the corner of the street, so I just bought it from her. I have no idea who she is. But by putting your mark on the things you're making, you're able to look on the back and say, hi, this is where I bought it. You want one? Well, you can go to this website and purchase yourself one. So as you can see from my testing, this laser, it's tiny but mighty. It can do so much stuff. It's perfect for bringing to craft shows. You can engrave on demand right there at the craft show. You can engrave your cutting boards, boxes, personalized stuff, cheese boards. You can make dog tags and sell them. You can make jewelry, engraved jewelry, personalized things. It's just so much you can do with it. Just keep in mind, if you do go to craft shows and you bring a laser with you, you do need to have a smoke purifier because you're not allowed to exhaust your smoke into the room. As far as how the laser performed, I think it performed really, really well. I was very happy with it. I did not have any problems. Everything seemed to work very, very smoothly. Just like all the other longer lasers, it's very well built, solid. I don't really see any issues. If I have to say something that I was not a fan of, now if I have to pick on something that I was not a big fan of, it is the cover. I think the design, it's not the greatest design. I don't like that I have to raise it up and down in order to be able to pull this thing out. I think the fan, when you attach a hose to it, the hose is maybe a little bit too heavy and these magnets will give up and it just falls down. The cover for me was more trouble than good, so I did not use it for the testing. But other than that, it seemed to work really, really well. Like I said, they sent me one of the really big packages. I got all this stuff in my package. The one thing I did not have that did not come with my laser, it's the cutting base. Cutting base looks something like this. This one is from my X-Tool machine, so it's not the one that came with longer. Longer did not include one of this. But I looked on their website this morning and it looks like most of their packages does include one as a free gift. It's about $20. But if you are planning on cutting materials, you do need one of those. And but like I said, I don't know if you need it. This is not the kind of laser you would cut a lot of material with. It's mostly for engraving. What they did send though, they did send me two of these cables, which I cannot figure it out what they're for, because I used the rotary tool, I've used the extension table, yet I did not need these two, and I don't know what they're for, but maybe you can figure it out. Leave it in the description below if you know what these cables are for. Now, when it comes to pricing, I look on their website and they have, like I said, they have the 6 watt and they have the 12 watt. This was the 12 watt version. The 6 watt, it starts at $4.99 and it goes to $8.49, depends on which package you get. And then for the 12 watts, it starts at $6.99 and it goes to around $1,000. And that also depends on which package you're getting. So the prices are very, very fair. If you buy all this stuff from the competitor with the extension table, with the rotary tool, you will definitely spend at least $700–800 more. So pricing, I think it's very, very fair. I think the laser is worth it, and it's not for everyone, but it's great, great lasers for many, many of us. Now, if you do decide to purchase this laser, please consider using the link in the description below. It is an affiliate link. That means to no extra cost to you. I will earn a small commission. I hope this was helpful to you and you learned something new. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Skylar Ewing and I'll see you in my next video.